Have you ever sit in a room and feel like the only real thing in it? Like you're surrounded by actors reading lines off scripts they wrote just to survive another day, and yet you're just sitting there, still, watching, recording, noticing things no one else catches. The sudden flicker in someone's eye when they lie, the smile that doesn't reach the soul, the tension under someone's voice when they pretend they're okay. You don't call them out, you don't break the mask, because you're not here to play. You're here to see, and they have no idea that every movement they made just exposed their truth to you. You're not quiet, you're calibrated. There's a difference. You don't speak unless your words are weapons. You don't move unless the ground shakes. You've been burned so many times. Your silence isn't soft, it's a scarred battlefield. Your calm isn't peace, it's a warning. You've learned that chaos doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just watches, waits, smiles. That's you. A quiet storm with a soul full of sharpened steel. And while they laugh too loud, explain too much, try too hard, you sit there like a loaded chamber, because the power isn't in exploding, it's in knowing you could. It's not about being feared, it's about being unreadable. They don't know if you're hurt, they don't know if you're planning, they don't even know if you care. And that mystery, that silence, it eats them alive, because they can't manipulate what they can't measure. They can't control what they can't predict. You're not loud because you're not available for performance. This world will test you in whispers, not in screams. People will smile as they sink daggers behind your back. They'll ask questions they already know the answers to, just to watch you squirm. They'll pretend to listen just to gather ammo. But you see it all. You hear the intent behind the tone. You feel the venom in their compliments, but you don't give them the show. You sit in the fire like it's a throne, because you've learned something they never will. Reaction is surrender, and you don't surrender anymore. Your silence isn't weakness, it's your sharpest sword, and you've kept it clean, hidden, deadly. You've mastered the stare that doesn't blink, the smile that doesn't break, the vibe that unsettles everything fake in the room, because you've been betrayed before, enough to learn that speaking too early is how you give them your playbook. But now, you say nothing, and they feel everything. That's power. That's poetry written in war paint. You walk into rooms like a ghost with unfinished business, unshaken, untouchable. You carry knowledge like a storm under your skin. Every fake laugh, noted. Every shift in tone, logged. You don't chase apologies anymore. You outgrow the game. Because when you speak, it's not for attention, it's for impact. And when you finally decide to move, you don't strike, you end. Epictetus once said, "He who angers you conquers you." But let's stretch that further. What if no one could even read you well enough to know where to aim? What if your silence was so complete, so surgical, it made them question their own reality? That's how you win. Not by shouting louder, but by being so composed, so locked in, that chaos dies the second it gets near you. So next time someone tries to bait you, provoke you, test the edge of your calm, don't flinch. Don't feed them the reaction they're starving for. Just sit back, watch. Let your silence slice through the noise like a blade through fog. Because your stillness is violent, your awareness is lethal, and they will never recover from a storm they didn't hear coming. If this just shook something inside your bones, don't just scroll past it. Let this etch itself into your mind. And if you've been that quiet one, holding storms behind sealed lips, drop this in the comments like a battle cry. My silence is my sharpest sword. And listen, like this video, share it with the ones who forgot how powerful calm can be, and subscribe, because this isn't just a message, it's survival fuel for warriors wrapped in stillness. Now let's go, my friends. Number 1. The fake smile is a warning sign. A smile too sweet is a loaded weapon. Coated in sugar, dipped in venom. It walks into your life with glitter on its sleeves and a blade behind its back. You can feel it before they speak, the twist in their energy, the stiffness in their laugh, like something dying behind their teeth. And you know it. You know that face wasn't carved by joy. It was stitched by envy and panic. Panic that you might be winning. Panic that they can't copy your fire. But you don't flinch. You don't shout. You smile like a storm that hasn't hit yet. Because silence is your trapdoor and patience is your sword. Let them keep acting. Let them wear their mask until it suffocates them. The more they speak, the more they expose. And when that mask slips, and it always does, you'll be standing right there, untouched, unbothered, unshaken. Every room you walk into is a battlefield of grins and glances. You can feel the fake love pulsing like static through the air. They ask about your life, like they care, but their pupils shrink when you talk about peace. They wanted chaos. They wanted you broken so they could hand you pity like a leash. But you stayed whole. And that made them nervous. So they smile. That fake smile. The performance begins. And you just sit back like a ghost that already knows how the story ends. You count the lies hidden inside compliments. You recognize the hunger behind their kindness. You don't interrupt. You don't expose them. You make them think they're winning while you're silently building a map of every crack in their mask. Because the truth? Real power doesn't roar. It watches. It waits. Seneca once said, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage. But in this twisted circus, to stay silent when your soul wants to scream, that's a revolution." You've done it. You've walked into rooms dripping in fake praise, smiled at enemies dressed as friends, and walked out with your soul intact. That's not weakness, that's war strategy. Next time someone flashes that shiny smile laced with fake warmth, match it, not with trust, with clarity, because you've seen this movie before and you remember every face. You just never told them. You're not cold, you're composed, you're not naive, you're nuclear. And when their mask finally cracks, they'll realize you never believed them. You just gave them enough rope to hang their illusion. Number 2, don't explain yourself to people who already judged you. Stepping into a room where your name's already been butchered feels like walking into a trial where the verdict's been signed in blood. Their eyes? Not curious. Calculated. You feel it. The tension slicing through the air like broken glass. You haven't said a word, but they've already built your character in their heads, twisted your silence into guilt, turned your peace into pride, and a part of you, foolish and aching, still wants to defend yourself, still wants to scream, "That's not who I am!" But don't give them that luxury, because once someone has judged you, they're no longer listening. They're hunting for cracks, not understanding. Every sentence you offer them is just raw meat tossed to wolves who already tasted blood. They're not asking to hear your side. They're circling, grinning, waiting for you to expose a weakness they can dress up as a character flaw. That's not conversation. That's execution. You want power. You want revenge? Say nothing. Let the silence thunder. Let it choke the room and strangle their assumptions. Because silence isn't weakness. It's a weapon forged in fire. Every time you don't explain, every time you walk past their judgment like it's beneath you, you strip them of control. You don't feed their narrative, you set it on fire. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That means their opinion, their gossip, their sideways glances. None of it matters unless you let it. The moment you stop answering for your growth, the moment you stop justifying your evolution to those who prayed you'd stay broken, that's when you take back the crown they tried to bury. You changed, you healed, you moved in silence, and that scared them. Because they don't fear the loud ones, they fear the silent storms, the ones who disappear to rebuild, the ones who return without a word, but with eyes that burn through walls. So let them talk. Let them paint you with the colors of their own fear. You don't owe anyone a single sentence of your truth, especially not the ones who decided who you were without even knocking on your soul's door. You're not here to audition for acceptance. You are the fire they can't tame, the story they can't rewrite, the soul they misjudged. Let them drown in their own assumptions. You walk on, silent and untouchable. Number 3. Sometimes the best revenge is to play dumb. You catch it in the air, the setup so obvious it feels like a blade sliding inches past your throat. Someone trying to bait you with fake smiles and sweet poison dripping from their words. They think you're blind, dumb enough to fall for their trap. But you wear ignorance like armor, a cold, calculated mask that hides the storm raging behind your eyes. They want a fight, a reaction, blood on the floor. Instead, you smile that slow, chilling smile, the one that says, "I see everything, but I'm not your prey." You let them think they've won, while you're already planning their downfall in silence. That's not stupidity. That's the mind of a hunter disguised as the hunted. Most people fall into every trap screaming, fists flying, proving their worth to vultures who feed on weakness. But you move in shadows, quiet and lethal, the kind of power that doesn't shout but whispers death. You watch their moves with cold amusement, letting them expose their own ugliness in a drunken dance of overconfidence. The more they believe you're naive, the more reckless they become, twisting truth, bending reality, spinning lies like a spider weaving its web. And when they finally get tangled, falling into the pit they dug themselves, you're already miles away, untouched, unbroken, unstoppable. Seneca said, "There is a season for speech and a season for silence." This silence isn't surrender. It's the sharpest weapon in your arsenal. It's the pause before the storm, the quiet that unsettles the loudest voices. It's precision, it's control. It's a clear message etched in the coldest steel. I know exactly what you're doing, and I refuse to be bait. When they lie straight to your face, twist your words, try to pull you into their circus of manipulation, you don't feed the beast. You starve it. You turn your back and watch it choke on its own venom. Their desperation becomes their downfall. Their masks crack, revealing the ugliness they fought so hard to hide. They fumble, overplay, lose grip on their own twisted narrative. Meanwhile, you glide through their chaos like a ghost no one can catch, a silent storm brewing in the distance. You don't need to shout, because the echoes of their failure scream loud enough. The best revenge isn't a loud clash. It's the calm before the fall, the invisible strike that no one sees coming until it's too late. You've stepped into a war zone where silence is your fortress and patience your sword. You don't need to explain, prove, or defend. You just exist above their noise, a shadow moving through the battlefield with grace and ruthless intent. Every time you refuse to play the game, you reclaim your power. Every time you smile at their foolishness without giving them the satisfaction of a reaction, You win a battle they didn't even know was being fought, because the deadliest victory is the one they never see coming, the one they never understand, the one wrapped in silence, patience, and the quiet confidence of a mind that's already 5 moves ahead. Number 4. Trust isn't given, it's slowly earned, quietly measured. Trust isn't some shiny badge people slap on with empty promises. It isn't handed out like candy on Halloween or tossed like confetti at a careless parade. Trust is a slow-burning fire forged in shadows and silence, tested by the coldest nights and the fiercest storms. It's the secret pulse beating beneath the surface, revealed only when no one's watching, when masks slip and pretenses crumble. The world shouts about loyalty, but trust whispers. It doesn't scream. It waits. It watches. It weighs. Every glance, every silence, every shadowed choice. You've felt that electric jolt, the primal warning humming in your gut when someone's smile stretches too wide, their words roll off too smooth, their kindness arrives too fast, like a wolf disguised as a lamb. That rush of cold clarity cutting through the fog. Something's not right. But still, you leaned in, you swallowed the doubt, and then the knife twisted. Because betrayal never crashes in like a thunderstorm. It creeps like poison through the veins of those you let stand closest, the ones who danced inside your sanctuary, studied your cracks, then shattered you with a grin. It's not the enemy outside the gate you fear. It's the snake coiled beside you in the grass. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who ruled empires and his own mind, warned us to look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if the wilt always look. That source of strength is not in the words people say to your face. It's in what they whisper behind your back, in the way they behave when the spotlight dims and the crowd fades. Trust is a seed buried deep, slowly sprouting roots through dirt, watered by patience, hardened by fire. Rushing it is like lighting a fuse in a powder keg, explosive and destructive. When people peel back their masks and show you their true colors, believe it the first time. Don't wait for the wreckage. Don't wait for the betrayal to flood the room and drown your faith. The only way to catch the poison early is to silence the noise inside your head. Stop listening to what you want to hear. Start watching what's real. Let your quiet be a microscope, dissecting every move, every word, every silence. Trust with your eyes. See beyond their smiles, beyond their words, beyond the shallow surface. Let patience be your shield and truth your sword. Because once trust shatters, no apologies, no promises, no pretty speeches will stitch the cracks back together. Once someone reveals their venom, don't paint them with the colors you wish they wore. See them as they are. A storm past, a shadow left behind. Your trust is a fortress, not a playground for fools. Protect it with the fierceness of a lioness guarding her cubs. So stop announcing your trust like a parade. Stop spilling your loyalty like cheap wine. Instead, slip into the quiet shadows. Observe, measure. Wait for the ones who show their allegiance not in the spotlight, but in the silence where it truly counts. The real question mark. They don't need to shout loyalty. They breathe it, live it, bleed it quietly. And when you find them, when their truth aligns with your own, that's when trust becomes an unbreakable bond, a sacred force that even time dares not touch. Number 5. Power isn't loud. It's how quietly you move when you know everything. Power doesn't need a microphone. It doesn't crave the spotlight or beg for applause. Real power is a shadow stalking the battlefield, silent and deadly, moving like a phantom while the world screams and rages like a wildfire out of control. It's that terrifying calm inside your chest when you know the game's rigged, the players are fake, and you hold the cheat codes. But you don't have to shout it. You don't have to prove it. You simply are the storm brewing beneath the calm. Imagine a room thick with venomous words and masked smiles, a place where lies drip like acid and truth hides behind locked doors. You hear the whispers slicing through the noise, see the actors fumble with their scripts, sense the poison dripping from their tongues. But you don't blink, you don't react. You become a still lake reflecting their madness, untouched, unbreakable. Because true power isn't noise, it's the weight of silence that crushes mountains without ever moving a stone. The desperate, loud and clumsy think power is a spotlight they can grab and wave around. They try to burn bridges with words sharp enough to cut steel, hoping to scorch their enemies into ashes. But that's just hunger masked as strength, a raw, empty howl in the void. Real power? It's a slow-burning fire beneath frozen ice. It's the poison beneath the sugar-coated smile. When they don't know you know, you're already invisible, slipping through their fingers, rewriting the game while they're stuck playing by your rules. Marcus Aurelius wasn't whispering when he said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Power isn't a mirror reflecting rage or chaos. It's the iron fist wrapped in velvet, grace in motion, cold and precise. It's not stooping to their level. It's becoming a god who watches storms with amusement. You don't throw punches back. You become the earthquake that shakes their foundations to dust without ever lifting a finger. You've felt that cold rush before, the rush of quiet knowing that cuts deeper than any blade. When you hold the truth and watch fools trip over their own lies, you taste a power that no one else can reach. You've walked away from traps set with venomous smiles, untouched, laughing inside because the whole circus was just a game you mastered. That power isn't flashy. It's the fortress built in the silence between their screams, the kingdom where your mind reigns supreme while their chaos crumbles. So keep your lips sealed like a vault, your gaze sharp as a razor's edge. Let your silence be the hurricane that tears down their lies. Let your peace be the weapon they never see coming, the cold indifference that haunts liars more than any scream. Because nothing kills a liar faster than the one who knew the truth all along and chose to rise, untouchable, unshakable, unstoppable. Power doesn't bellow, it haunts. It slinks through the shadows with the quiet brutality of a predator waiting to strike. No need for empty noise or hollow words. Real power is the cold breath on your neck, the sharp edge beneath calm skin, the silence that screams louder than any chaos ever could. The strongest souls don't wave flags or throw punches in the light. They move like ghosts, unseen, unfazed, untouchable. To be this quiet storm is not surrender. It is the apocalypse of weakness. Wisdom isn't a loudspeaker blaring into empty space. It's the ironclad resolve that stays unbroken when the world claws and screams. When everything around you crumbles, the wise become the mountain, steady, immovable, fierce. They guard their minds like sacred vaults, shield their peace like burning armor, and wield their power like a weapon forged in silence and fire. This isn't about playing safe. It's about dominating the battlefield no one even sees. Silence is the deadliest weapon. It's a wildfire that devours noise, a dark wave swallowing every desperate cry. When the world tries to pull you into its chaos, you don't just resist, you consume it. turning their fury into fuel, their doubt into dust beneath your feet. Your absence becomes a thunderclap, your calm, a war cry that shakes foundations. This isn't mere survival. It's a merciless takeover, a quiet carnage that leaves the battlefield scorched and trembling. If this shakes something raw inside your bones, don't just sit there, like the video, like your life depends on it. Share it with the fighters who wear scars like medals and know the price of silence. Drop your rawest truth in the comments, because real voices echo longer. And subscribe to join a legion that moves in shadows, crushing doubts and breaking chains. This message isn't a whisper. It's a scream wrapped in shadows, a sword you carry deep in your soul, slicing through lies, breaking chains, rewriting your fate. Grip it, brandish it, own it, because real power is the quiet storm that devours worlds.